Hello and welcome to Being Rad with me, Robert Alexander Duran. Today I have a great guest with me, Rajesh Rai, who is a very highly qualified Reiki practitioner, a master in several of the practices. Rajesh, welcome.
Hey Robert, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? And don't give me some rubbish saying fine, thank you. How are you genuinely?
I actually just got back from the gym. So at the moment, I'm like sweaty and bothered.
Sweaty and bothered. What a great answer. Well, that's better than being worn out and in despair, right?
Yes. I mean, one of the things like I woke up this morning and I wanted to do for myself is I was looking at the year kind of ending soon. We're almost into our fourth quarter and I was looking at my list of goals that I wanted to achieve and I was like, I wanted to get down my weight to a certain quantity, and so I'm working on that today. But also because I've recently been reading about how exercise kind of gives you like a masculine framework for like the divine energy to flow in the business, and so that's where I was coming from. So I did like my HIIT routine in the morning, and then I'm doing my cardio. Just did my cardio, and I ran back to see you.
Very nice. Well, judging by what you've said that you're doing, it's no wonder that you're sweaty and bothered. How did you find doing the HIIT?
So I did it this morning. I kind of did, it's a 12-week routine. I should have started on week 1, but for some reason my computer wanted to play week 3, so I did that. And I realized that although I'm coming back to exercise after a while, that actually the muscle memory is there, and I could do the exercises quite quickly. And it's just about getting something done so early in the day and feeling rather good about meeting my goals, for today.
Yeah, fair enough. I did a 10-week program at the start of 2021, which was mainly HIIT and then resistance as well. But the HIIT training isn't for me. I did not enjoy it one bit. So now I just do mainly resistance training and I need to do more cardio. But I play golf on the weekends with my dad where I get loads of steps in. Talk to me about what kind of content you are using to further your business at the moment and what's been working for you.
So for me, because I do Reiki, a lot of my work is in the energetic realm, and some of the things like I've been looking at is marketing, figuring out how to market myself better, looking at branding, but I'm only doing that after I've gotten certain flow in my business and I've hit certain milestones. So that's where I'm at in terms of branding and figuring out what I want the face of the business to be like. But honestly, where I'm at with my work is I'm getting a lot of support through like coaches, because I feel like it's one thing to go and learn everything on your own, but it's so much cooler if you get support from someone who knows what they're doing. Like, when we started off and you said video is your thing, that is cool. Then I just take directions from you and, we get the best outcome.
That's cool. So as you move through the branding and like how you want the face of your business to look, where do you see that going? What are you looking to get into? What are you going to be doing more of?
I feel like I want to work more on figuring out how to like demystify Reiki. Like at the moment, a lot of my clients that come to me have experienced Reiki or have heard of Reiki elsewhere. But my very own journey with Reiki was like, I kind of felt like it was a cult the first time I went to a Reiki circle. Because no one was explaining anything. There was very little information on this in 2012. And so what I'm trying to do is to bring the art and science of it together. Like I know the energetic side of it, but I'm looking to really put out content, push out content. Like that's why I'm doing like as many podcasts as I'm doing, because I'm like, let's have the conversation and let's have the questions. Let's talk about it. So what I'm looking at doing for Reiki in a while is that in an ideal world, most people should have households with at least one person trained in Reiki, whether that's true of me or whether that's true of like anyone else that's, affordable to them or at a price point that's comfortable to them.
That's awesome.
So really making it simplistic, like making it simple but easy to understand.
So what are the things about Reiki that people don't know that they should know, that to you seem obvious now that you're a practitioner, but you wish you had been shown before getting into it or first coming across it back in 2012?
I think to be fair to my practitioners in the past, there wasn't as much information there, and I read voraciously. So I've been reading must have read like 100 self-development books over the past decade or so. So what I feel like people don't know is how it works. So all my work is online. I only meet my clients remotely. In fact, I don't even see them on Zoom. I would just send them a text to confirm the appointment time, and I'll let them know I'm starting now. And I give them a set of guidelines like light your candle, play this music, and let's regroup and meet online again in an hour. So all our work is online, and a lot of people is like, why am I paying you when I don't actually physically see you doing Reiki? So how Reiki works is like the traditional model is there would be a massage bed, and someone would be hovering their hands above your body or placing their hands on certain parts of your body where the chakra points are. So what would have been cool for people to tell me is how it works. Like what is Reiki? What is source energy? How is the energy being transferred? So, now you're based in the UK and I'm based in Singapore, and my computer knows the frequency to communicate with to your computer, right? And so the proximity doesn't matter. And so a lot of people is like, I'm not seeing you. Like, how do I know the work is being done? And I always tell them, like, go home, chill out for 10 minutes and see if you're receiving the Reiki energy. So when I'm attuned to Reiki by my master, I know how to download the Reiki, and I know how to channel the Reiki to anyone who's like in my vicinity or not in my vicinity. I can even technically channel Reiki to past events like childhood events or like past lives. So I feel like that demystification would have been cool at that point of time.
Incredible. So what are the differences between doing Reiki with someone in front of you compared to doing it remotely over a video call? What does that look like in terms of differentiation for you?
I admit that actually when I planned it to only be online, virtual, was because I'm not sure if I want to be in Singapore like forever. So in the next 3 to 5 years, I may want to move somewhere else. So that was where I was coming from, that my business needs to be location free and time free. Those were the ideals I was working with. What it looks like is that I feel like clients can relax a little bit more in their home. So a lot of them tell me that they end up crying as they receive the Reiki. And I think that is so much nicer and comfortable to be in your own private sanctuary where you need to like release whatever, you need to reach into a pillow and scream into it, versus being with someone where you may be a bit more self-conscious. And sometimes I can tell what they're going through, but a lot of times I just focus on channeling the Reiki, receiving any messages that's coming through for them. So they're the ones who are in their bodies and feeling the feelings. And so it's not like there's a second person to judge them for their outbursts or judge them for their feelings being like wrong. So that's why I thought that it's cool that, you can do this at home and you can laugh, cry, do whatever you need to do.
Have you found that you get better results doing it where they can be at home and be more comfortable in their surroundings?
Yeah, now that you point that out, I am more comfortable in my own physical surroundings. I do a set of processes before I start Reiki for someone. So that will look like me meditating, me connecting to my higher self. Sometimes I draw an oracle card for the person. So I think me being in a better place to send the Reiki itself is cool. But more so, I find that, sorry, I forgot where I was going with this. Also I find that they would receive the Reiki better because I'm not distracted. I'm 100% there when I'm channeling the Reiki. I'm not like, when is this going to end? Or I'm not wondering if this person feels uncomfortable if my hands are hovering above their genitals, or if they have eczema and certain parts are sensitive. So I think it's just like those concerns are out of the way, and I can just focus on channeling the Reiki, making sure this person is receiving as much as possible.
Amazing. Can you give me some information on the different types of Reiki that you're well versed in? Because I saw on your website that there's Dragon Reiki and Money Reiki, and then there's some with words I didn't recognize. So what are the different types and how are they different? What if somebody was listening to this and thinking that they were interested in Reiki, how would they know which type of Reiki they should be asking you about?
Sure. So I am, like you mentioned, I am certified in Dragon Reiki, but I haven't worked with Dragon Reiki a lot, interestingly. In a bit, I'll tell you why. But I do Soulmate Reiki and Money Reiki, and both these forms are channeled by a practitioner called Stephanie Brill. So she meditated and downloaded it in her consciousness, and Money Reiki is really cool. Like a lot of people think that Money Reiki is about bringing money to you, but it's more about being comfortable with the absence or the presence of money in your life. So if you don't have the money, but you're at peace with the money could come through like a gift from someone else. Or it could come through like a a windfall. So we don't have to dictate how the money comes to you. It could be as simple as someone asking you to house sit for them instead of paying rent, somewhere else. So it's just that it opens up all the possibilities for you. Soulmate Reiki is more about finding a soulmate, but it's also looking at like relationships as a whole. So I could do it for colleagues, colleagues, your bosses, your parents. So at the moment, I'm kind of like actively trying to work on a relationship with my parents, like the relationship between them and trying to heal that relationship. But I want to share that the most successful soulmate Reiki I feel I've done is where a friend had multiple miscarriages last year and she was trying to call in a baby. She's trying to get pregnant. And it occurred to me that, hey, I should do soulmate Reiki for her and the kid. And so we looked at the picture that was showing up for me in soulmate Reiki, and I can strengthen the connection with her, the dad, and the baby, like kind of triangulated all of them. Yeah, and she's successfully pregnant now. So that was Dragon Reiki. I haven't worked with it because I thought at the time when I learned it, I wasn't like a good enough vessel to hold it yet. Like my laptop kind of died and my washing machine fried and my aircon fried. So all my electronics were going haywire. And I thought like, I'll give that a pause first. So how would someone know what type of Reiki to get would be when they seek me out for consultation, and then we can talk about the problem. And then I would just tell them what I think is best. But usually when I channel the Reiki for them, I'll let them know like I have all these attunements that whichever Reiki is best suited for you will come true for you. So it's a little bit like I don't know if you have the radio or if you've ever listened to the radio. It's a little bit like dialing into like 96.5 FM or 95.8 FM. It's just kind of know how to tune into the frequency of money and the frequency of relationships.
So it's kind of like you're offering them Reiki like you would buy a radio, and then through the consultation, you then know which station to dial into. Would that be a fair analogy?
Yes. I mean, Reiki has been evolving. I think it was first channeled in the 90s or 60s, and over then it's come like a long way. So there's probably like at least 100 varieties of Reiki. Like there's Ganesh Reiki and Black Panther Reiki and all these other modalities I'm not yet familiar with.
Fair enough. Well, I'm admittedly and ashamedly unfamiliar with all of the modalities. I've already learned an incredible amount just from listening to you now. Talk to me about your personal journey then. So you got into Reiki just over 10 years ago, and you said that you've read over 100 personal development books. Talk to me about your journey. How's that been? What got you into that, and where are you now in comparison to then?
I feel like it has been a long road, like a long, hard road. So I initially started my spirituality journey because my ex-husband had an affair. So that was a bit of a blow because I thought like everything in life was going fine. And I was 27, maybe 25, 27 at the time. And none of my friends were married. If they were married, none of their husbands were having an affair. So I kind of didn't have a support system to turn back to. It's not like I could just Google, what to do if your husband's having an affair. So someone suggested going for past life regression. And I did, although it's a bit like weird. And and I'm embarrassed that I tried like everything. I think I had a problem and I was just trying to fix a problem. So whatever people are telling me, I was just doing it. I went for the past life session, and one of the things that showed up is go experiment with Reiki and see whether you can use this to heal the relationship. So I used to work as a teacher, and I remember skipping school once because it was a Tuesday afternoon, and I took leave of work and went for the Reiki circle. And then I felt like a cult because there was so much chanting and just like people hovering near you, having their hands above your body, and you don't really know what they're doing. So it felt like, weird. And then I didn't know anyone, so I didn't know who to ask. So I left feeling quite disillusioned, I guess, about Reiki. I was like, yeah, the past life practitioner said this. And I remember it was like a $300 session. And I was like, takes money down the drain. But eventually, like I think in 2020, like during COVID or like right about that time, I had a friend, Connie, and she was telling me how she did Reiki. She had 3 sessions of Reiki and she had a boyfriend by the end of the 3 sessions. And I was at a place where I was like, I want a boyfriend, So I'm going to go do Reiki. So I did. I received Reiki from my practitioner. I did get a boyfriend by the end of it. But when my friend passed away in last year, January, I found Reiki to be really, really cool because I had all these feelings coming up around his suicide, and I didn't necessarily have the language to talk about it because there was grief, but I didn't even know what I was grieving, or what I was, how to express this loss in words. So I had been seeing a psychologist at the time, but I felt very limited because I didn't have the terminology to tell her. Or just like talking about it didn't get me anywhere. So I felt like Reiki was so comforting and so gentle. Like then I decided I'm gonna learn it, and since then I've been doing it for like about a year plus now, a year to 2 years now.
Yeah, amazing. So there were several things in there that I could see as mirror images of what I went through, like that time of being like 25 to 27, where you feel you should have your life sorted out, and then something happens and like everything crumbles down and you have to rebuild from there. That's exactly what I went through. I went through kind of more mindset coaching, but I think if you find something around that kind of time that allows you to grow and expand, it's going to change your life, isn't it? And that like I went through the Bulletproof Entrepreneur program by John Whiting, and you went through Reiki, and as long as you get something that works for you, you're going to end up better on the other end of it. So that's really cool to know that it's around that time that I think a lot of people feel they need a change. What would your advice be to someone else going through that kind of turmoil that you went through at that age?
As I reflect on my journey, I feel like I want to tell them that it's okay, that they can't see it just yet, but they're on the cusp of becoming like a better, bigger, brighter version of myself. Like the truth is that it took me a lot to get here, but because it took me a lot to get here, I have certain standards that I don't compromise on. And I think there was also this like trust in myself. Like there was one point I went broke, because I kind of went from like healer to healer trying to heal the situation, and I really went broke. And I was just sharing this with a friend yesterday. Like I was so broke, like when I afforded like a $2 dessert, I actually savored that dessert in my mouth for like a long period of time. But because I was like at rock bottom, I knew that the only way to go was up. And then I did hit rock bottom again later for some other reason. But then I kind of like climbed up, and I'm at a much higher peak than before. So the valleys are good for you, and the highs are really high. The lows will be low, but they're only there for a season, and they will assist you. It's just that we may not see like the gift or the beauty of it just yet. But hindsight is like 2020, right? Is that the phrase? Hindsight is 2020. Like it was something in time to come. But what's really helpful is like finding support. So I felt like while I was, figuring out which healers were good or some were scammy, like find the support that you need to get through where you need to go. So after a while, I decided I'm not going to work with healers. I'm just going to look at books, look at resources and see what's there, and tune into my higher intuition to see like what's going to work out for me instead.
Love that. What are you doing now? What are your plans for the next 3 to 5 years? How are you planning to expand your business, and what's the impact that you want to have?
I feel like if you don't mind, I'd rather go into my personal journey first. Like where I'm at with my personal journey at the moment is I just learned that there are 10 bodies of yoga. So we have 10 bodies apparently, like the physical body, the mental body, which is made of the neutral mind, the negative mind, the positive mind. There's the etheric layer, and there's 5 other bodies that I don't remember. But I think what I most recently learned is like all your 10 bodies have to be in alignment before you can manifest certain things, or before you feel like there's a flow to life. So that's where I'm at, like working with Kundalini Yoga to see if I can get all my energy in alignment. The other thing I'm looking at as a framework is human design. Quite fascinated with it. I went down this rabbit hole for like 3 months, just learning whatever I could about it. But from the business point, I felt that on my Reiki journey, had someone told me that Reiki is this modality that's so cool and so gentle and so supportive, I would have started on this work like so much earlier. So I'm telling as many people as I can about it. And for me, what I think that will look like in 10 years' time is I want to be in like TEDx kind of spaces, speaking to people and doing instant healing for them, like telling them what's the science of it. And then actually instantly healing people. Because I think in the healing world, there's a lot of like, oh, you got to do a certain number of sessions. And I'm like, that's bullshit. Like, I feel like it's a bullshitty paradigm. I haven't figured out how to make the results permanent, but I'll get there.
Well, that's the thing. Tony Robbins got known for making instant changes in people, didn't he? He would go on TV and cure people of their phobias like instantly. But then I think there's a balance to be struck where you can do that for someone, but then giving them the ongoing support that allows the change to last. And if you can nail doing both, then you're on to a winner. If you can't do both, either you're trying to sell people a certain amount of time that they need to be with you, and like they might want to see results quicker than that, or you make an instant change that doesn't have longevity. So you need to be able to do both. And if you can do both, you're really onto something.
Yes.
Just briefly, talk to me about the human design stuff, because that's also something that I have a little knowledge of. I'm aware of it, but I don't know much about it. Give me a 101 on crash course on human design. What is it? Why is it beneficial? Who would want to be involved with that? Like, what kind of people are looking for that?
So I find that with the traditional Reiki model, you're not supposed to coach people. Like, if your client asked for like messages that came up, then you would tell them like, oh, I saw this image or I saw this visual, like what does that mean for you? But there had to be like explicit intent by the client that they want to know what you receive. Otherwise, you're supposed to like let the session go. Because like for me, what I see sometimes is visual showing up based on my lens of stuff, and it may not be accurate to the client's lens. So yeah, like one of the tenets of Reiki is do not tell your client what showed up for you unless they ask for it. So with human design, I thought that there needed to be a framework, because my clients are all curious and they always want to know. And initially when I started with friends and family or cousins, they're like, tell me what's going to happen, or why are you saying this? Like, how come I feel so much lighter, or why did I see this? And I felt like I couldn't really interpret all of those messages for them, but I wanted to send them away with something. And so human design is a framework that I'm currently using. So with human design, which is also a channel modality like Reiki. So channel modality means like someone goes away into a meditative state for a period of time, and then they will get a download, like an insight from the higher self, and then they find a way to express it in a form that we can understand. So it blends like Indian Vedic astrology, the Kabbalah, the Chinese I Ching. So it has like 5 astrology incorporated into it. And I would need like someone's birthday, their birth time, their birthplace, and then I'll be able to drop a chart for them. So what happens with the chart is that it tells me which centers are open, which means like if you look at a human design chart, there are like white aspects, which are open aspects, and they're colored defined centers. So for me, my my crown chakra and my Ajna, the third eye chakra, is open, which means I can receive the guidance from the universe quite easily, should I choose to tune into it. But it also means that if Robert is thinking something, I may be picking up Robert's thoughts, or the thoughts of like everyone else around me. So it was hard in the past to like function in life like that, because I was picking up everyone's thoughts and everyone's energy. Then there's also the solar plexus. So my solar plexus is open, which means I'm good as a healer because I know exactly what you're feeling during the healing session. But it also meant that when I went to work, I was picking up like everyone's anxiety, their thoughts, their feelings, and it was hard to operate in a corporate setting. So I felt like human design was quite cool, because once I knew that these were sort of weaknesses but also strengths in the thing, I knew how to like work with them and play with them. So I would normally look at a client's chart, see what they would need clearing. So anything that was open, that was white, which means they were picking up other people's stuff, I would clear it out, and then I would reinforce areas that they were strong in. So it was quite cool to like read certain channels. Everyone always wants to know like if they have money, and then you can read a channel for that.
That's cool. So what needs clearing for a guy who was born in 1989 in Maidstone, Kent? Because that's me.
I could probably do a human design like after this call, and I could give you like some guidelines. So I did get like a package where I could like look at the thing, give people like quick guidelines, and that normally looks like doing grounding. So I think for most people, like now that I've seen like maybe 20-30 charts now, I feel like most people need some grounding or some like deconditioning. And I think the easiest way to decondition is to like go out for a walk or do something without your phone, which means don't even plug into a podcast. And it could look something like doing housework. So housework, walk, playing with ceramic stuff, like anything creative or anything that's just like reflective as a practice. So if let's say you have 3 open centers like I do, I need to go ground for 45 minutes in nature. And what that would do is, if I'm not actively doing meditative stuff, then that is supposed to clear other people's stuff from my aura. And then I'll start to feel a bit more like myself at the end of like if I do it often enough, I should feel by myself at the end of the week. Because sometimes we don't know what your own energy fields. That we've always been with other people. So we don't have a sense of like what Robert's pure energy is like or what Rajesh's pure energy is like. We are always like a blend of everybody at the moment until you set up like energetic filters to block yourself off from other people. Yeah, so I would say
Yeah.
like start with grounding, start with meditation for at least 30 to 45 minutes.
Cool. So when I've gone to the beach where there's no signal, that's a good thing to be doing, right?
Yes. So humanism also tells you your environment. Like it tells you if you operate best in like kitchens, which means like many people come together. It's like those co-working spaces. Or if you work best in a cave, which means you have to retreat into like the basement of your house or the attic where no one is around. So it kind of like tells you how to optimize your energy. Also tells you how to eat actually, like whether you should be eating hot food, cold food, if you should be eating in a low noise environment. And interestingly, it also teaches you how to manifest, like whether you're an emotional manifester, if you manifest through like feelings in your body, or if you could visualize, like visuals alone would be good enough to manifest it and stuff.
Sounds incredible.
It's fun.
Well, that leads me very nicely into asking you, how can people get in contact with you if they want to explore these avenues of Reiki and human design with you? Where can they find you?
So I think I'm most accessible on Instagram, which is Reiki Energetix. So what's showing up here? Reiki Energetix, REIKIENERGETIX. My website is also by the same name, ReikiEnergetix.com. Yeah, so those are the two platforms I'm very active on at the moment.
And just to add, there's a dash in between the two words for your website.
Yes, that's right.
And if you're watching on YouTube, then you can find the link below.
Yes.
Awesome. And what kind of things do you offer? What packages, etc.? How do people get started and what should they expect?
So you know how we were talking about like healing can be instant for some people. So honestly, with some people, like an hour session of Reiki gets them what they want. Like I had a client who wasn't getting paid for her project. She did Reiki and then, within 2 days she got paid for that project. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But with some people, it felt like they needed more ongoing support. So I do hourly sessions. I also offer packages of like 3 to 6 sessions. And then there's this container that I'm running just as a trial for right now. Because I feel like with some people, they have stuff coming up every day as they're working on the Reiki. Because with Reiki, it's not like, it's like all these emotions are already in your psyche, but they're buried like really deep inside. So Reiki is like poof, and it kind of like brings everything up to the surface. So with some people, I feel like they've needed the daily support. So that container is $1,111. And I feel like that would be where someone would go to if they find that they needed like to make a decision, which was a big decision. Like my current container, my current client, she is deciding whether to have a divorce or not. And I was like, I can't give you the answer for that. Like, I cannot take radical responsibility for you. You make that decision, but I can guide you through like 4 sessions of Reiki and the daily support. And as you journal and as you tell me what's coming up for you, we can tell the Reiki what to do and let it transform the situation for you.
Amazing. Well, for 1,100, that sounds like a steal for daily support. So if you are listening to this, watching this, and need that kind of support, then go ahead and get in contact with Rajesh, and see where Reiki and human design can take you. Thank you, Rajesh, for coming on and being on the Being Rad podcast. And for the rest of you watching and listening to this, keep being rad.